Sporting bet.
Hi there YouTube, it's Galavian here. This is the Vatpac Town Hall. I'll just turn it off for a bit. Vatpac Town Hall Teamspeak meeting on 2nd of February 2016.
$10 on me because I hate money.
10 seconds.
Wait, what? I don't understand how that works.
5.
Do you think Theodore wants to start right on 8:30?
Yes.
I think you do.
Okay,
We should
let's
just
start.
wait 5 minutes just to piss him off.
I think we should just delay it 60 seconds or so, yeah.
Nah,
We're still waiting for better
For separation.
If we keep crapping on about it, then we'll be late anyway.
No, surely not.
Right,
Okay.
hang on. Before we
I'm
start,
fine,
is
baby.
anybody in here currently logged on as ATC?
Me.
Me.
Alright, can you not do coords in the middle of the meeting, please?
User in your channel timed out.
I
didn't hear that. Someone's talking over you.
Greg lost connection again.
I didn't realise this
User
message box
disconnected
down the
from your
bottom
channel.
came with text to speech.
201 Alpha departure.
That took me a second.
Oh, don't. Oh, never mind.
Alright, Theo, with your permission, we'll begin.
It's not with my permission. I'm
User
only,
joined
like,
your channel.
you can start whenever you want.
Okay, now
I
I'm
can't while you're pressing your PT.
Someone just keep an open mic for the entire thing. Here's Abby.
Ah, the guy from Israel.
Yes.
Did he join this division or something?
Tracy's
Visiting
been here for a
controller.
while.
He's a visiting controller.
Ah, right.
Where's his badge?
I don't think he ever got a VC badge.
Who?
He does
Oh,
now.
there's his badge. There you go.
Ta-da! Magic.
Magic
User
of
joined your
England.
channel.
Oh, Arby.
Oh, welcome back, Greg.
Alright, we'll just wait for Harvey to join us.
Arby's a member of Vatpac.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
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 User joined your channel.
Hey, Abby.
User disconnected from your channel.
He's an S3.
Well.
There you go. Thanks.
User joined your channel.
Greg, which ISP are you with?
Fine it.
Ah, of course.
Are they good or bad?
I haven't had dramas with them.
They're generally pretty good, except when TeamSpeak drops out.
Ah, that makes sense.
No, my
The radio
internet
ad is so
connection's
annoying.
great as long as it's not raining, and it never rains in Melbourne.
Oh, it's raining in Brisbane.
Right. And up the coast as well.
Yeah, the heavens just opened.
Okay, folks, looks like everybody that's going to join us has joined us, so we will make a start. Just a bit first on how it's going to operate tonight. If you want to jump in and make a comment, please just very briefly press your push to talk button so we see your light flash. And just like in school and in kindergarten, we'll call on you when we see the lights. Those of you who may not want
User joined your
to
channel.
publicly put in questions but would like to ask questions anonymously, you can send those to me via a private chat message, and I will ask those questions on your behalf, and your identity will remain hidden for a small fee.
Small? Come on.
Just a small fee of $1 million.
And if you've got voice activation on, it is preferred if you change it over to push to talk now.
Yep, definitely. Okay, so thanks everyone for coming along this evening. It's good that everyone's in the right frame of mind by the sound of it for a bit of chat and a bit of banter. We do this about once a year for those who haven't joined us in one of these before, and this is more or less our forum to allow direct feedback from you guys, the members, to help us, your board, set our direction and set our policies and do things like come up with new events. People will come and go as we go through this, so just try and ignore the TeamSpeak messages in the background. We're going to start off tonight with the Ops department, so I'm going to hand over to Dave so he can do his thing. Once again, if you have something that you'd like to ask at any stage, just either quickly press the PTT button or send me a private message if you want to be anonymous. So David, over to you.
All right, thanks, Tracy. For those of you who don't know, I'm the Director of Operations in our division.
User in your
And
channel
so
started recording.
this portfolio
User in your channel
encompasses
is
everything
recording.
from
User in your channel stopped
policies
recording.
on things like CTAF to your controller positions. We're in charge of bringing you controller documentation and sector files and various other bits and pieces like that. So really we do pretty much all the stuff that's not covered by events, ATC training, and IT. And the first thing that I wanted to discuss with you guys tonight is this proposal that was put forward late in 2014, and that was to allow the opening of extra Team A positions during Milk Run Monday events. And by extra Team A positions, what I mean by that is your Melbourne departure, your Sydney departure, and Sydney director positions. Many of you will know that last year we ran a trial for about, I think, 5 or 6 weeks, where we ran Sydney director on Monday nights. And out of that trial, we got some feedback and we made some observations. And just so you guys have an idea of what came out of that trial, some of the things included frequency confusion. So there was a little bit of confusion as to which, from the point of view of pilots, as to what frequency they should be on. So we had aircraft calling up director after departure, simply because they hadn't been given an explicit frequency transfer. They'd just been told to contact departures, and for whatever reason the pilots had picked the wrong frequency. There was another issue in terms of coordination, and the use of standardized headings between approach and director meant that minimal coordination was required. However, we'd expect with positions like departures, in the event that we have aircraft traversing through, so for example, aircraft with approach going through departure airspace for whatever reason, we'd have to see whether that sort of coordination would happen or not. And from the trial, it seemed that coordination tended to suffer when controllers weren't on TeamSpeak, and particularly in the Team A, that coordination really needs to happen quickly. And finally, the final issue was in terms of visibility on tools such as Vatspy and ServInfo. Many of you will know that Sydney Director never appears on Vatspy simply because of the way Vatspy works. We have a way of getting around that from a technical point of view, but that's just another thing to consider. So the topic of discussion really is, do we want to make these extra Team A positions available during Milk Run Monday events? I think Ryan was in there first.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. You know, the whole motto of Flight Simulator back from when it first started was as real as it gets, and especially recently in the past few weeks on Milk Run Mondays, it's been starting to get really quite busy, and I definitely know a lot more than Approach would like to handle. I think, well, I'd just like to say it's a great idea. There are a few ways, I guess, with a bit of planning that you could get around the confusions of the departure director and the coordination issues, but I guess that'll only come with time and familiarity of the position and like standard operating procedures being written and all of that.
Yep. All right. I think Greg wanted to reply to that.
Yeah, David, could you just expand on what the current policy is for non-standard TMA positions with regard to, Milk Run Monday in itself being, when it gets busy, when someone who's in a position able to do so can authorise those positions to open anyway.
Yep, absolutely. So the existing policy is that, generally speaking, a controller can't go and activate a non-standard position. However, with the authorization of a senior staff member or a C3 or higher rated controller, provided that it's sufficiently busy, we can actually activate these positions already. So the change in policy would be to open this position up permanently on Monday evenings.
Yep.
All right, I think Matt was next.
All right, yeah. I agree with the opening extra positions, especially on Milk Run Monday. I'm not 100% sure, say, opening a position like director is. I had this feeling in my mind, but part of it was sort of answered just then. Like, I would think myself that it would be easier for the pilots and ATC to open, say, approach and departure instead of approach and director, because the first time I encountered director, I was confused. But anyone that knows me knows that's not hard. I think, my point of view would be on Milk Run Mondays to say not need a senior staff member or a C3, as you said, to authorise the opening of, say, departures, because I know the amount of times I've got home from work and thought, beauty, I'll jump on ATC for Milk Run, and everything's full. There's a lot of traffic, but I can't really squeeze in somewhere, and a little bit annoying, but completely understandable. So I think, yeah, I would say we don't really need to, or we shouldn't need authorization for, say, opening departures if it gets sufficiently busy.
Yep, all right. Thanks for that, Matt. And that's actually exactly how this proposal came about, just in terms of how quickly the positions got filled up. Obviously, putting this in place, you'd only get an extra 2 or 3, but they'd still be there on the table. Now I think Luke was next. Did you still have anything to say, Luke?
Yeah, well, like Matt was saying, it is true. We shouldn't have director, and the thing is, director does take part of the approach controller's job as well, for directing them into the runway, of course. And I reckon departure should be out there anyway, because it's realism. Like in the real world, you have approach and departures, which is pretty awesome. And it'll be good if we can do that all the time instead of like on the major events and that. But anyway, that's all I got to say.
Yep, all right. Thanks for that, Luke. I think Ryan Steffi had something.
No.
No?
That was me.
Oh, okay. We'll go back to you straight after Owen then.
So is that me?
Yep.
Okay, so I agree with what Matt said. Like, approach and departure would be perfectly fine, because with departures on, then approach's workload has been, I'd say, decreased by a half, since he only has to manage, well, he or she only has to manage the arrivals. But I think if it gets really that busy enough that the approach's workload is still pretty high, even with departures on, then maybe it would be a good choice to open up director, but only if departure is on and approach's workload is quite heavy enough.
Yep. So basically, you'd be saying that director would be something that would be activated by, as we said, a C3 or a senior staff member.
Yes, technically.
Yep. All right. And okay, then back to you, Ryan.
I guess just with what both Matt and Luke said, more on the point of what Matt said, how there's not enough, he'll get on, there's not enough positions. I think that opening approach and departure in preference of Sydney directors is a Sydney director, sorry, is definitely something that would probably work a bit better. But then it could just be like, say when you've got a flight service station on and you've got another centre who wants to log on and extend, you let them know, you say, hey, you're okay with this, because I think half the gist there is you sort of don't want directors stealing controlling work, is sort of what I got out of that. But I definitely don't think that there should be a position sacrificed for the I don't really know how to put it, but I don't really think there should be a position sacrificed because of controllers not wanting to release airspace. And I know that might sound a bit dicky, but yeah, that's just my 10 cents.
Yep, no, absolutely. That's one of the things that we have to try and balance when we activate new positions. Luke?
Yeah, like what Ryan said, I do reckon that instead of like, I reckon like you can be a departure without asking the approach or something, because sometimes they can like say, oh no, I don't need help, I've got it all on control. But what's the point when you go, like when I get home from school and it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in Sydney, I wanted control and there's like no positions, like Skinner said as well. So
Yep, alright, thanks Luke. We go Kirk.
Okay, so I've got a few things to say and a general question towards these positions. David, when I'm done talking, I want to know about the positions. Obviously, the first position to be filled would be approach, then departures, followed by director. Further to that, we've had some comments about frequency confusion for departures, departing traffic, and obviously these guys are looking into vPilot or Squawkbox or FSN and seeing D approach and DE for departures. Realistically, you should be listening to the frequency that you've been given to in your clearance delivery. It's no different going from Melbourne Centre to Melbourne Centre, and we've got Canty and Nullarbor and Tas on, and you should be listening to the frequency that you've been given. The other thing that I want to say is that at the end of the day, if you come home and there's no positions left, well, that's just the way it is, and that's the way it is on every event that we have. And really, you should just jump on and fly and take advantage of it. There's nothing we can do to stop those positions filling up if they get home before you and they're gone. I mean, I live in Western Australia, so if I look at it, I miss nearly every single position on Monday nights, and I've got no chance of controlling because I don't get home until 4:30 in the afternoon, and they're all gone. So I go and find something else to do. But you know, it's all very well and good that we got these extra positions, but if they go, they go. That's just the way it is.
Yep, absolutely, and that's why I mentioned before that you know, even though this will obviously give a couple more people an opportunity to control, we're really only looking at 2 or 3 more.
And just briefly, David, on the position fill basis, it's obviously you don't log in as director first. Am I right by saying that? If approach is not on.
So the way we do it is similar to how we run, say, Snowy and Binduk. So if you were to jump on as director and there was no other team A position, you'd cover the entire team A until such time someone takes over the rest of the airspace. So basically, you log on as your preferred position, but until such time there's people to fill in the other bits of the airspace, you've got to cover that whole airspace, or the whole team A.
Okay, no problems. One more thing I'd just like to say, that people were talking about the old grass cutting scenario that comes up quite often. We've never had a policy in place for who logs on in ground and delivery, and no one seems to have any disapproval with how that's done. I can't work out why there's such a disapproval for this director's position.
Well, in terms of ground and delivery, they're standard positions. Anyone's free to jump on. Now, I understand sometimes people are a bit upset because they think, there's finally a bit of traffic, and then all of a sudden, these people log in for 20 minutes just to handle that traffic, and then they disappear. So, part of it is about respecting other people, but the other side of it is we don't want to be putting too many restrictions on these positions. Now, I think Theodore really wants to ask a question or make a comment.
Yes.
And Trent, we'll get to him in a moment.
Okay, I have a few things to say. I would agree. I don't know why many people don't go on delivery or ground really. Because, I mean, if you want as real as it gets, then you need delivery or ground. Another thing is, what is, I don't really know this, but what is the call sign for director? So, for example, Sydney director will be SY underscore, yada, yada, yada.
What we've used in the past is SY-D underscore approach. But obviously that's just a detail in however we set that up.
Right, okay, and last thing is, actually, no, don't worry, I forgot. It's fine, you can go on.
Trent?
Yeah, I was taking a look at that priority idea that Kirk had. That's a good idea. We have kind of a hierarchy, so approach comes on first, your departures come on second, both of them, and then director's final position. But assuming that everything is on, then there shouldn't be really a confusion with call sign and frequency, because you're being told frequency. Perhaps a different letter in the call sign would be useful, so that it is more different to departure than it currently is, because it's got a D in there. My suggestion would be letter R for direct R.
Yep, possibly, and that's something we'd look at if we were to go ahead and implement this, and that might even be something that we look at for future events.
Cool. And the other thing is probably with my website part and the calendar template, perhaps I've already got that map in there, but I think perhaps a closer view of the TMA diagram might help. Maybe, maybe not sure.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I think Mustafa had a question.
Yeah, I was thinking of why not adding a booking system where you can book your position, but there's like a minimum amount of time which you can book it for, so you can't book it less than 40 minutes.
Look, we've previously had a booking system. However, under the Vatsim rules, which override whatever we want to do, there is no way we can enforce a system like that. Now, the way it works overseas is through an honour system, and unfortunately we never got that culture going here. And I guess if we were to do something like that, I think next time we did it, we'd need a lot more community consultation, like we're doing here tonight. Scott?
If you're looking to expand controller positions, why not look at adding the 2 surface management controllers at Sydney?
Yep, that's certainly another possibility. The only issue I see with that is that I think most of the traffic is domestic, and you see a lot of it over on the domestic side, so I'm not quite sure that there'd be that much work for the other ground controller.
Yeah.
But certainly another thing we could look at.
And also, with that, why not look at expanding the towers to the same system as Sydney with the split frequency system?
Yeah, again, I think it's a matter of workload. With ground, that we could certainly look into that, but I think with tower, the workload isn't that high if there's not a lot of helicopter traffic in the airspace. We'll quickly go to Greg, and then I think Jacob had something to say.
Yeah, so just to point out that we're talking about opening up positions that are available to be opened by anyone on a Monday night for the purpose of Milk Run Monday. Other positions that are non-standard would still fall under the current policy. So they can be opened, they just need to be authorised.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll go to Jacob.
I was just saying that I agree with having the DIR for director on the call sign.
Yep, alright. We'll go to Ryan. I'm just conscious of time, so we'll wrap this up in a moment. We'll quickly go to Ryan Steffi then.
Yep, mine's just short. What about putting what position and what area they control in their remarks?
Yep, that's something that a lot of people do already. In terms of TMA positions, it's a little bit more difficult because of just the shape of the airspace is a little bit complex to describe with words. Yeah, that could certainly work, but you know, I think the issue arises when you're being told, okay, contact departures, and you're rocketing up to whatever your standard assignable is, and you got to quickly remember what the frequency is again. So you quickly look at the list and you pick the first one that looks right.
Yep. Okay. Thanks.
Trent.
That was accidental. Go ahead.
No. We've got a Scott.
Yeah, is there any ideas on splitting approach into possibly? And having it's obviously non-standard, but a southern departures,
User joined your channel.
northern departures, northern approach, southern approach.
Look, that's actually how it already is split in real world. In terms of a north-south split, there wouldn't be much point doing that on Milk Run because obviously most of the traffic is going to be from Melbourne anyway. If anyone had any more comments, just hold down your button so I can see who you are. All right, we'll go to Noah, and then we'll go to Matt, and then we're going to move on.
Yeah, hi. I was just so from a completely pilot's perspective, I was just wanting to say that to me, the director position doesn't actually add any realism. It's just another frequency I have to worry about when I'm looking at my descent profile and all that. And I can understand, yeah, sure, real as it gets. Let's switch to 2 different more frequencies before I land. But if the traffic doesn't constitute it, I can understand why a controller might be a bit disappointed to see that half the traffic does go away. And before about the you know, being ground and all that, you say you haven't had any complaints. I think I can't remember who said that, but you know, I can understand the frustration that some towers might get when a ground and a clearance controller jump on and, you know, Qantas 232 clear to land. It can get a bit annoying, but yeah, the main thing is that a director position doesn't do much for me. That's all.
All right, that's really good to know, Noah. We'll go to Matt, and then we're going to move on.
Yeah, all right, just quickly, I want to say everything that Greg said earlier, I agree with. The delivery should contain the departure frequency, etc., which was sort of part of the training. But yeah, and also as Greg said, the priority, if say we do open up the departure frequency for free for all, I guess for want of a better term, yeah, the hierarchy obviously should be approach, departures, and then checked with a C3 whatever to open director, because otherwise approach, if centre is doing their job, they're not going to have any separation to do, really anything to do as they come in. So I would be pushing more towards that and say opening up director before departures. And yeah, like also as geez, who was it? Sorry, I've got who said it, but yeah, like if you do run out of ATC positions, I've always jumped on had a fly. It's one of them things. Either you're early enough to get it, or you're not. You just got to deal with it, I guess.
Yep, absolutely. All right, thank you all for that. We'll take those comments on board, and we'll let you know in due course which way we go with that. So quickly before I move on to the next portfolio, before we move on to the next
Open mic,
portfolio.
Brownie.
Yep.
He wasn't saying it.
User in your channel timed out.
Yep. So, did anyone have any comments, questions, or suggestions for any part of my portfolio? So again, that's so documentation, sector files, and any operational policies.
I think Brownie did.
All right, just hold down your button so I can see who you are. We'll
User
go
in your
on.
channel timed out.
Oh my god, sorry, I forgot.
Just before you move on, if I can just interrupt, I just want to quickly address three little concepts that we heard throughout that conversation. First one is the question, why don't people log on as ground or delivery? The sad fact is that's the glamour factor. You're not actually controlling an aircraft movement, so it's a bit less glamorous. That's why that happens. As for people contacting the wrong departure frequency when they're given, what I've found is that happens a lot of the time because too much information is attempted to be given by the person who's giving the airways clearance. For example, departures with Sydney approach on 124.4 instead of just departure frequency 124.4. So that's a good way to address that. And finally, a lot of the time we've heard the I'll get it right eventually, workload and whether things are busy. Now, I just want to remind everyone that's a very subjective thing in an online environment. In the real world, it is very easy to measure when someone's busy or when someone has a high workload, whereas online, you might have one person that's going to start panicking when he has 3 aircraft to control, and then you'll have adrenaline junkies like Arjun who 200 aircraft isn't enough for him. So it's a very subjective thing to be saying, to say, well, look, it's really busy, I'm going to jump on and grass cut. So just keep that in mind.
All right, thanks, Tracy. Sorry, who wanted to comment?
No, I don't think.
All right.
Just quickly.
Yep.
With regards to operations and stuff like that, this is just a bit of feedback, but everything generally works well when people follow the procedures that have been written out in the operations section of the website and how Sydney approach and departures should be run properly. As long as everyone's following that, there really should be very little issues.
All right, thanks, Kirk. Noah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that on the pilot section of the new website, you talk about choosing your call sign as, so omitting the VH dash part, but in the Vatsim documentation, it tries to tell you not to do that. And I was just wondering, because if you really like something, like Papa Zulu Hotel, and then another country has the same prefix in their dropping as well, you're sort of tying that up. Just wondering what's your comment on that.
User joined your channel.
So in terms of dropping, so you're talking about dropping the VH off the front of the rego?
Yep.
Actually, David, I believe that Ross Carlson, maker of V Pilot, is removing that option from the call sign.
Okay, I think the issue is the VH part, not the hyphen.
Oh, okay.
Is that right, Noah?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so you'll find that in a lot of other countries, especially in Europe, they do include the prefix because obviously you've got a lot of aircraft traveling internationally. Dropping the prefix wouldn't work. In Australia, it's common practice to file your flight plan without the VH, and so that's what we're trying to do there. Now, obviously, right. if for example your VH ABC, you log in as ABC and it says call sign in use, very simple thing is to simply add the VH onto the front.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Anyone else? Trent?
Just a sec. There we go. Yeah, Tracy was talking about that long part of the clearance delivery when you get your departure frequency and people might not be writing it down. That is also a pilot kind of issue and might need to be, effectively, we need to remove the entire D from the start of the director call sign, because director is an inbound approach and that's very simple to get that frequency clearance. You get it from approach, contact blah 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 on frequency. you've got the frequency right now, you change it, and within a second you're there. Whereas when you're getting the departure frequency, it may be 10, 15 minutes before you actually need to use that frequency, and in between those times you're talking to ground and tower. So a lot of people will detune that frequency from their standby. And then, of course, the obvious thing is once you've forgotten what you haven't written it down, you forget what it is, so you look it up in your pilot client, and you look for the nearest thing that has a D in it, because it's got a departure. And, of course, alphabetically, the first thing that has a D in it is the one with a D and a minus sign, because minus is the first part of the alphabet. So
User in your channel
you
timed
end up
out.
on director instead of departure. If we remove the D entirely from or at least remove D as the first letter of director, that might be the best option.
Yep, absolutely. And as I said, we'll look further into that once we make a decision on where we go in that regard.
Indeed. Because another issue there is you can't really make the pilots remember that frequency that they got 15 minutes ago. It's just, I mean, it's nice practice to write it down, which is what we all should be doing, but you can't actually enforce that.
Yep, absolutely. So moving on to Oliver.
Are you still looking for documentation people?
Yep, absolutely. So those two announcements I put up asking for volunteers. If you're interested in joining the team, helping out, giving back to the community, feel free to throw me an email at any time.
Cool.
Owen?
So I know a lot of people are probably sick of me talking about my lovely little latest files, but I was wondering if they're going to be put onto the sector file page, and right now I'm currently working on the RAF ATIS and the Melbourne ATIS, since they're actually kind of different. So I was wondering if it was okay to just put them like all into one pack, put them on the sector file page, so when people go to download it, they have pretty much all three ATISes that are used across Australia, except for AWISs.
Yep, so feel free to package that how you like, whether it's all as one or in like 3 separate packs or whatever. And I'll put those up on the website when I get a chance.
Thank you.
Luke.
Well, like what Trent was saying about the frequencies, a pilot forget the frequencies. What most towers should do is before the aircraft even takes off, they should go like clear for takeoff, blah 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 blah. After departure, go to approach 124.4 g'day instead of go to departure after takeoff.
No, that's not what they should do, because that's not standard phraseology.
I think we do need to move on from that topic. I think we've heard plenty on that topic, and I've got enough to come to a decision in the coming days. We'll just go to Noah, and then we'll move on to the next portfolio.
Yep, just wondering what's the deal with ATC Assist at the moment?
ATC Assist, we'll put that question down as a question for IT then.
Yep.
So Brownie, do you want to write that down as something to bring up?
It's working fine.
Doesn't look like it's linked to any database.
Working fine for me.
Yeah, I've found when you click on the links to the PDF files that come up on the right-hand side, it's blank. It never loads.
Yeah, right-click and open a new tab.
That's
Righto, cheers.
That's an iframe to the Air Services page, but everything else is a server error.
You're talking
I'm
about the
happy to
actual
help out.
page?
Okay, guys. We'll delay this question until we move on to IT issues, please.
All right, I've taken up enough time. Who's next?
I think it's a good segue into IT.
All yours.
Brownie?
Yo.
Is there something wrong with the ATC Assist page, or did it just crash because 30 people just tried to access it?
No, I got onto it.
Working fine for me.
Charts work for me, the page works for me.
Internal server error.
Are you using Firefox?
Negative
I
Chrome.
think the actual operations page just crashed.
That's a server error though.
I can't even connect to the academy anymore.
Okay, so somebody mentioned that everything else was an internal server.
User joined your channel. User in your channel timed out.
Yeah, okay. So who was saying that everyone was that they were getting the internal server error?
Me.
Me.
And you're still getting it?
Me. Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
On
which
connection.
files?
Not anymore. Oh yeah, still am.
We
Yep,
just
I'm getting
DDoSed our own website.
Oh wow.
I think it should be able to handle
Go up.
20 connections.
You would hope.
Use that link.
Yeah, that one works.
User entered your channel.
Yeah, actually, this is
User
the error I
joined your
got,
channel.
but couldn't
User
actually
joined your
screenshot.
channel.
I
And I
get.
don't know why it happens.
I also get Intel server error on some things.
Have you tried that link I just posted, Luke?
Might it be an idea to deal with the specific issue, say through forums, and we'll move on to general questions?
Tracy, that's the same link I'm on, and it still get the internal server error on the 2 boxes.
Okay, as it said, put a post up in the forums.
Okay.
Sorry, who's in charge of this anyway?
Mr. Brownie.
Hey.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a different error, so I'll let you know about that later.
The man who has control of it is, strangely enough, the man who somehow or other appears at the top of every room he's in.
Well,
Mysterious. Okay, so any other questions regarding IT? And IT would include website functionality and things like that that we're not aware of.
Forums, Teamspeak, Oceania server.
Yes.
Go on, no?
Okay, I'm not quite sure I've got the website set up. It could be a model view controller sort of situation, but every now and then, and I don't know when and why it happens, I get an error. An error was encountered, and it can't find the page. It can't serve the page. And it's your server serving that to me, and it looks like it's a custom sort of error.
Okay, I would suggest that's also something for the forums. What we're talking about here is the bigger picture website functionality, things that ideas that you'd like to see or stuff like that. Ryan?
There are some links on the Moodle that don't work. So I was trying to access one that was regarding to...
Okay, again, individual little issues like links not working, please put them in the forums. We're talking big picture stuff here. Anybody else?
Maybe
Mustafa, go ahead.
adding live maps.
Working on it.
Alright.
We're also working on the Moodle links.
What happened to our pilot statistics, like hours and stuff, leaderboards or whatever? Are they still there?
That's there now. It's in the Vatpac pages.
Okay, thanks.
It's under the live menu. It's all in there. We're also just changing. We are in the process of getting it up, sorting out the information and putting more tables up there and for more information for statistics and stuff.
Yeah, right. Thanks.
Okay, Matt.
Yep, sorry, I was just outside. I think maybe for the website, I mean, at first I found it a bit tricky trying to find the like a quick link maybe to the ATC/pilot assist, like on the top bar, maybe having a quick link there.
There is a box on the side of every front page that says quick links, and it goes ATC assist, pilot assist, ATC training, everything.
Ah, good. You're a mind reader. You're a mind reader. No worries. No worries. Yeah, sorry. I must have missed that. I can get silly at times. And I think this question was half answered previously about like the controller rankings, I guess, through the month. Again, I haven't been able to find it, but again, that could just be me.
That I think that isn't actually online. Only the pilot data's on. The controller data is actually still being
top
recorded.
controllers and top pilots has appeared there this afternoon. I don't quite remember where, but it did suddenly appear today. I think it's on the Who's Online or something like that.
It's on the homepage.
It's on if you go previous activity. Previous activity. It's there, but you can't get any further data. So you can't go back per month per year. And the data is there in the database. It's just not being displayed as of yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're,
no
we're
worries
still
at all,
working on
'cause-
that page. On
Yeah,
all
no.
the VAT packs and all that kind of stuff. Getting all that
Okay, so
formatting
that's a work
sorted.
in progress, is it?
Yeah, we're still touching up on that.
Okay,
Yeah, no
User
worries.
left your channel. User
let's
in your channel
move along.
timed out.
Owen, you were next.
So this is about excuse me, the pilot assist. I'm not sure if you had a look at the NAPES flight notification tool, but I was thinking, what if we could redesign the pilot assist to look a little bit like NAPES's flight notification tool, because not only does that have your your routings, but it also has the ability to do up your remarks. Like, I remember when I first joined, there used to be a remarks section on the Vatpac site where you could make your own remarks. So I thought it'd be a cool idea to kind of redesign pilot assist.
Yeah, that's
to show.
also on my to-do list. I've already started ATC Assist, redesigning ATC Assist, and Pilot Assist was on the next after that. And yeah, bringing ATC Assist into more like a real-world controller sort of, I don't know what to call it, but just like a little screen that is more like what they'd see for your specific sector and stuff like that. And then a Pilot Assist more like, yeah, NAPES.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the actual remarks generator, like when you can accept SIDS and stars if you're GPS or whatever?
Yeah, like I think it was earlier last year when I joined, I found it, but when the website changed, I couldn't find it, so I kind of lost it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, I'll add it in.
Okay, okay.
Thanks, Owen. You were next. Or not? How about you,
Sorry.
Theo? Oh no, go ahead, Brady.
No, I was just answering him.
Oh, my answer's already been answered.
Okay. Theo, that was your turn.
Okay, I've got two things. The first thing is, can I talk about World of AI and model matching?
We can talk about it, just not in a normal meeting.
Okay, sure, no worries. Second thing is, why are there subdomains? Why isn't it easier
User
to
joined your
have
channel.
just one domain but many links? You know, so it doesn't get stuffed up.
Because if this is gonna sound funny, but if you have one domain, in my opinion, and I'm guessing most other IT people would agree, it does stuff up and get messy when you separate things into their own folders, set a particular subdomain to a particular folder. It makes it simpler for people to access, for us to use, the databases to connect, and stuff like that. And things don't get mixed.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll be going now. See you guys.
Thank you, Theodore.
See ya.
Actually, we should move this to Saturday. I don't know, school night. I've got school tomorrow. Or school
Good night.
holidays even.
Good night, Theo.
Bye, Theo.
See ya. See you tomorrow, guys.
Okay, anyone else have
User
stuff for IT?
disconnected from your channel.
No?
Yeah, so it's been answered. I can see down the bottom, but I'll admit it took me a good 10 minutes to figure out how to get back to the main section. Maybe you can put a Vatpac logo in the nav bar or something, because it's not very intuitive, in my opinion.
Are you talking about when you go to the operations page to get back to the main website?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
We all good on that?
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Mustafa, did I see you press your button there?
Yeah, I was probably saying why not adding tutorials on the homepage on how to navigate through the website.
Ideally, it shouldn't be too difficult. So I'll have to look at ways to make it easier with Brownie and Noah. If you want to send me an email about, I know your experiences. It sounds like you've got some IT experience. So if you want to jump on board and help out, that'd be awesome as well. Just a little plug for IT.
Ron?
User disconnected from your channel.
No, that was me having a giggle.
Good. Greg?
Yeah, just in support of that suggestion of a tutorial about how to navigate the website, probably more than how to navigate the website, but what information you can expect to find in the different departments. I don't think that's immediately clear on the homepage.
You're talking like a little quick, like a video kind of thing, like this is a new website, this is where you go to get stuff?
Maybe that's all we need. just a YouTube video.
Or maybe not just a video, maybe a pop-up notification.
Yeah, it's been a good 10 years since I've programmed websites, but can you make little tooltips maybe?
Yeah, tooltips, yeah.
Yep. Like, did you know you can find TMA supplements here?
That'd be good.
What's a TMA supplement?
Oh, you know what I mean.
It's overrated.
He probably doesn't.
I'm old school. Anyway.
Okay, any other questions for IT? Brady?
Yeah, just a quick question with the IT. Is it possible to have links regarding to the other sector files within the Vatpac division, not just the Australian sector files?
As in the previous sector files from like the last cycles and all that kind of thing?
No, like, cause you know how with Vatpac, you guys control like other countries like Fiji and Tahiti and that. Would it be possible to, have links to those sector files as well as the Australian ones within the downloads page?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we should be able to do that.
We currently don't have an up-to-date set of them. That's the reason why they're not on there. So anyone
I was going to
who
say, do they have them on VATNZ?
yeah, so for places within our jurisdiction, but outside of Australia, there are a set of outdated files on the Pacific Oceanic Partnership website, and anyone who has an oceanic rating can get them from there. However, I'm reluctant to host them on the Vatpac website simply because they're currently out of date, and we don't have a reliable source of data for those. But look, I'll take that to Peter Story, who's here at the moment, actually. Well, I'll have a chat with him about that a bit later on to see what we can do in that regard.
Okay.
Okay, anything else for IT? Last call.
Well, I will just say, if anyone is interested in giving us a hand, send me a PM now or Brownie a PM with your email and we'll get in contact with you, because we're always looking for help, because it's an online organisation and we need to have good online presence, and we've been working on that for the last 3 or 4 months, but we still need more people to help out. So if you know what you're doing, let us know.
I can help, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, you're perfect.
Ideas, man.
I can be a test driver.
All right, that will lead us into training. Greg?
Yep, I'm ready to take questions on training. Can I just say, anybody who wants to report a broken Moodle link needs to let me know, either via the forums, the ATC training forums, or via an email. If I don't know they're broken, I can't fix them.
Okay, Matt's flashing away there. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's something simple that I probably should email one of yous, but I've been trying to go for my Oceanic for about a year now. I've sent three separate emails, but I don't know, I might be making a mistake with the address or something. Is there someone I can talk to get that ball rolling after this is all done?
Email atc@vatpac.org.
atc@vatpac.org. No worries at all. I'll get that done. Cheers.
Well, clearly things are running smoothly in the training department, if that's all we got. Oh, no, there we go. Owen?
I was doing my C1 theory exam just almost a week ago, and I think it asked me for I'm not really gonna I don't know if I should actually say this since it is part of the exam. Would you rather I private PM it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, that leads us over to events and communications. Oh, there we go. Greg has something already.
No, I was just doing a little woohoo about the lack of training questions. I'm off the hook.
For now.
For now.
You can always come back.
Put an
Okay, I think I'll,
put an out of office on your email address.
I think Owen was first in there.
Sorry?
Were you not first in to comment about events?
Oh no, sorry, I accidentally pressed it.
Okay, Dave.
Yeah, I've noticed when you go into the forums and down the bottom, it's not really IT-ish, but down the bottom there's the upcoming calendar with all the events that come in, and I've clicked on things that look like they're in for today, and you would go in there, but there's never any dates or times on a lot of them. So I think there was like Adelaide on yesterday, but no time or date or anything like that. Just thought maybe might be worth, although it's in the calendar, you can see it for that day. In the post, there's no general information from what I can see.
Yeah.
Zach, is it something that falls within your domain?
Yes, I mean, I'll have to think about how I do that, whether it's putting the date in the post name or whether we just hide that forum from people and people just go via the calendar and click on the dates. I guess we have to discuss what's easiest for people.
Yeah, but still, you don't get like a time, like the Adelaide thing. I have no idea what time it was kicking off, or is it just all day, or is it?
Time should be in the post. Usually Tracy or whoever's running the event posts, like, puts the location, time, date, all the details, ATC, frequencies and everything.
Yeah, I know I would normally put the date and time in the subject of the event. Not always, we don't do that religiously, but we can do that religiously if that makes life easier for the website.
It might be a good idea to set up a standard format for each event of, like, 6 or 10 important items, so that every event always has the same item and it doesn't get missed. And it looks the same every time. People know what it looks like, where to look for what they need.
Yep. Trent?
Yeah, I totally agree with that idea of a format. It's something that I did used to do with the old forum, and then I kind of forgot to save them all. And I might go to Wayback Machine and find some of them. I know that I've been a little bit slack with those Tuesday events because hardly anyone shows up to them. But Milk Run Monday, that's the other thing, the lack of repeating calendar. We can't go repeat this every week.
Yeah, that's on my to-do list again. Yep.
Yeah, Trent, we've actually been talking to IT in the last couple of days about bumping that up the priority list.
Go.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know if this is an IT type of thing or events, but when I go to the calendar upcoming, I always have to log out to see all the events because when I'm logged in, I can't see any events.
I remember we were talking about this in an email, and I cannot for the life of me reproduce the error. So
It's
I
fine.
can't, like, I don't unless anyone else can reproduce the error, but like if I'm sort of struggling to work out what's going on with it. Maybe you have a duplicate session or something like that from I don't know when, but yeah, I have no idea why that's doing that.
Has anyone else been having this problem?
How do you steps to reproduce?
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what the problem is, but Ryan, it sounds like something that you and Zach need to brainstorm.
Yep, I'll take a photo now and then I'll just speak to Zach.
It's a personal issue. Matt?
Yeah, all right. This is a bit of a two-parter. First of all, with Milk Run Mondays, don't get me wrong, I love them to bits. I look forward to it every week. But I feel, and this is just me personally talking, I feel it gets a little bit boring just doing the same thing for 3 weeks and then mixing it up on the last week. And I do understand the reasons behind having 2 set points, Melbourne and Sydney. That completely makes sense, and yeah, I do agree with it.
User disconnected from your channel.
I don't know. From my point of view, I think we should mix it up a little bit, like change a few airports around. Say 1 month we're doing X airport to Y airport instead. Just get somewhere else, because not that it's boring, but it gets a little bit long in the tooth when you're reading the same clearances over and over again, sort of thing.
Yep, I understand where you're coming from. I think we're actually lucky to have Kirk with us this evening because Kirk is one of the original creators of Milk Run Monday, and this subject that you bring up is one of our old chestnuts that comes up from time to time. So I'm wondering, Kirk, would you maybe want to go back and sort of give some background into how Milk Run Monday came about and how it became so concreted in our culture?
I guess one of the things we look at over the I'm coming up on 10 years now with Vatpac, so over those time I've noticed that Milk Run, sorry, over the period of that time, Milk Run, or the Milk Run that we know it now, Sydney Melbourne has always been the busiest.
Everything okay there, Greg? I think Greg's having his IONet issues again. Go on, Kirk. Yep.
Well, everyone else can hear me?
Yep,
yeah,
yeah,
we
fine.
can
That's
hear you.
great.
It's all right. It was just my stupid connection dropping out again.
Yeah. So we always have, in the past we've had events all over the country, but when we're looking at those events that are being held, so if we did something up in the north, we'd always, despite that event being on, we'd always see a large number of traffic doing the Sydney-Melbourne thing. We never really had anything centralised around Sydney or Melbourne to make it an official night. The main idea was to make a specific night on Monday so that people got it out of their system at the start of the week and then they participated in the other events. A lot of the other things that I tend to do, or was doing back then when I was looking at that sort of thing, was looking at what other divisions run. I mean, it's all very well to do some research, and I noticed that they had a lot of popular events that repeated every week, and they seemed like they had a lot of traffic attracted to them. So the idea is to have the Milk Run Monday happen at the start of the week, and then we've always got Australia. We've always had Australia Online Tuesday nights, and then we would try to come about with some other events to bring Wednesdays and Thursdays into it, and then we had our VFRs on Friday and Saturday. But like I said at the start of this piece, was that despite having events in other places around the country, we always saw traffic and controllers flock to that one area, so we just made an event out of it. The other thing that I saw down the bottom here was we have controllers wanting to control. Why not include Brisbane in the standard Milk Run? Look, just because it's Milk Run Monday doesn't mean you can't log into Brisbane. And that's the beauty of Australia, is that we've got such a large area and we've got so many control positions. If you're over in Germany, once the first center position's gone and the 2 approach positions are gone for Frankfurt and whatever else they've got over there, you really are running out of positions.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I agree 100% with you. We need, traffic for the ATC to be really worth it. And if Sydney-Melbourne is the most viable route, then that makes sense. Like, yeah, I'm with you on that. It's just, yeah, I think, or maybe this is just myself. If we, set up for a month from, say, Sydney to Brisbane, etc. But this sort of leads into the second point I had, is that outside of the forums, it's not really well advertised. I mean, the Facebook page that Vatpac has, it's not really, in my simple opinion, not really used as much as it could be regarding other events, because when it took us about a year until I realised there was more than just Milk Run Monday happening, when I got on the forums and had a look. And I've seen today that the Vatsim page on Facebook had 22,222 members. And I'm thinking, like, it's one of them things. You get the Vatsim Facebook page out, and then you link that to these other pages, the Vatsim related pages. We can get a bit more traffic in from them, get, more worldwide people involved. And, and then maybe we might be able to mix it up a little bit more than we do. But again, I don't want to say, because I'm not saying that we're doing a bad job with it. We're doing a great job. We get traffic every week. That's what we want. It's just, yeah, I would like to see a bit more diversity, but that's just my opinion, and I may be 100% wrong. Or
No, I think as far as communications go, there's a lot of work that has needed to be done in that area for some time. It has kick-started a couple of times and has stalled for various reasons. It is still very much very high on my radar to do, and we are working on a package to be able to better advertise our events in more places more frequently and be able to touch base with more people more often regarding events. So stay tuned on that one, and yes, we do hear you on that one, and it has been a sore point for a while.
If I could just quickly respond to Matt's statement there. Look, ideally, the rest of the week is supposed to have been left for the other events. So we've always had Australia Online. We've had Australia Online for longer than I've been here. And we've always had regionals and twins that came and left and came and left. If these events are there, but they're not popular, they're just going to get thrown in the basket. Milk Run Monday is popular, so that's why it hasn't been scrapped. The other thing, and those that know how I am with advertising, yeah, I've been blowing that trumpet for quite some time. The previous events and communications director didn't like the notes that were coming out of it, so that's one of those things that's just fallen by the wayside, I guess.
yeah, I mean, I totally understand. I'm the marketing manager with a very unpopular VA, so I know all about negative comments. So, no, I'm with you on that. But yeah, I mean, maybe just a suggestion: you guys start pushing more on these other events, because I'll come home, say, on a Wednesday night after 12 hours of work and think, yep, I'll go for a VFR flight. Have a look at Vatspy and there's no controllers. It's like, well, it's not really worth it. Like, yeah, if we can push a bit more on that, because really you don't need to say Milk Run Monday. Everyone already knows it. Everyone knows it's happening. Because I mean, I would love like really popular VFR flights, etc. Australia Online flying around the joint to other airfields. That would be great. But if there's no controllers there and only 2 or 3 people turn up, it just, you feel a little bit cheated, you know.
Another reason why Milk Run Monday I think came about was for new pilots, because they pretty much set up a full-on guide from start up to landing and everything of like what to say, what to do, what your clearance will be. It's just because of consistency, so it helps the new pilots who are trying to get online every week. They know what to expect.
Yeah, well, that's what it's for. I've always treated it as a training night sort of thing. I jump on ATC, try and coach a few of the new fellas. You know, not that I can tell them anything really, but yeah, that's what it's for. And the more experienced people, etc., fly, you know, together on the other nights. It's just, yeah, it's not really that out there. That's all.
We could cancel Milk Run Monday as a specific event, and we wouldn't need to worry about advertising it. That southeast corner of the country will still fill up every Monday night regardless. That's just the way it is, and that's the way it has been for so many years. And we can show the horses where the water is, but we can't take them there and make them drink.
Yeah, exactly. But if we start getting, say, a bit of Facebook popularity behind it, we can turn these other ones. Sorry, not we. It's you guys. You guys can turn this into something that's, you know, as popular as Milk Run. Because back onto the communications, I didn't know this was happening, because I checked the forums maybe once every 2-3 days. I didn't know this was happening until Trent shared it on his Facebook page. By the way, Musical Aviator on Facebook, get onto it. It's great. It's good looking. But yeah, maybe a bit more online presence.
We don't endorse commercial advertising.
Oh no, we definitely don't. But yeah, if we get the word out
on that
other
note,
events.
Matt, just on that note, Matt, there is a new piece of functionality coming into the website shortly, whereby members will be able to sign up for our newsletter, which will also contain a push notification system for upcoming events. So instead of you having to go and troll Facebook and all the forums and all that, the information will come directly to you.
Yep, no, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I like it.
Yep, that's in the works. So just about your comment about Musical Aviator, most people in this room were onto Musical Aviator before they were onto Vatsim.
Yeah, but I'm just giving him a plug. I don't want to inflate his ego too big, but yeah.
I'm not going to comment further on that. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I'll jump in. That Australia Online event, I was just wondering what people had an idea of why it's not so popular. Obviously, for the last couple of months, I've been pretty slack on updating anything on Facebook about it, but it's still there on the calendar. I'm wondering if people have any ideas how to revive that, if it's the wrong day, if the event itself, maybe just not well known enough, or if they just don't like flying to places like Adelaide.
Well, I think the last point is a valid point that people don't like flying to Adelaide, but that's with good reason.
We have run surveys in the past, and Tuesday Australia Online is always, for some reason, that day always seems to come out as the most popular, and that's where Australia Online got its Tuesday from. That's just because of survey results in the past.
Yeah, and it did run pretty well popular for, I think, some period in 2012, 2013. I remember we did a round Australia visiting all the airports that had a tower of some sort, and that was quite popular for a good month. But yeah, it kind of wanes, and then in the last year or so, it's just been pretty dead.
When I first joined Vatsim, sometime after Trent and Tracy did, Milk Run Monday didn't exist, and Australia Online was the first weekly event for the week. And in my experience over the last, I don't know, however long Milk Run Monday's been working, and longer than that, I've found that there's somewhat of a hangover the day after any big event. For example, if we run panic stations on a Sunday night, the Monday night Milk Run is not as busy as it usually is. Would that be a fair observation?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
Literally hangover.
That too.
So perhaps what comes out of that is we possibly should look at moving Oz Online's weekly slot to it later in the week or something. I don't know.
Maybe a Friday night? Just
Thursday's pretty dead.
Yeah, Friday nights seem to be the mysterious one. It's our Friday the 13th kind of thing every Friday. Not a lot of people tend to log on.
They go out party.
It's a bit of a reserved spot for the VFR guys though. We've had that one religiously had Friday nights religiously on VFR since whenever. I think.
Forever.
I think it suits them as well, because most of them are old guys and they're not out partying all night.
Well, they're partying, they're just in front of the computer.
Hey, we all party in different ways.
I think if you've got ideas for events that you want to put forward, there used to be a form on the website, but
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
still there.
you could chuck it in there and see what comes of it. That's the way Milk Run Monday started.
That's the way we organised that Brisbane Real Ops event. We just sent an email to well, we didn't do it that way, but we just sent an email to the right people, to David, and it came about.
Yep, and
Used to
suggestions
seeing
do
my
come
name
through the
then.
suggestion slide form fairly regular.
I thought I'd just bump in about that Facebook page as well. Sometimes I'm not sure if I should jump in early, like the day before, and tell people about events, or sometimes it seems better just to drop it 2 hours before and then it gets better results. I'm not really sure how that runs.
Facebook is always a tricky one to deal with, because I run the Perth World Flight one, and we got two teams now, and I put it against the guys. Like if we put something up from the 737 team one week, we try not and have them 747 team put something up in the same week, because if you start filling people's news feeds up with the same with stuff like that, they tend to push the hide button. and that's one thing that you've got to look at.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a given. It's one of those things that you've got to manage.
It might not even be so much the hide button as the I'm bored, so it keeps scrolling.
Yeah, I mean, if I could just butt in again, you're probably sick of me by now. But say for like a major event like the Real Ops Brisbane that we had recently, say it happens on the Saturday, maybe put out something on the Monday just saying, hey, this is happening on Saturday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, maybe put a little bit more information out about it. And then Saturday morning say, hey, this is happening today. Everyone get on and share that to the bigger Vatsim related communities on Facebook, something like that. Not overpowering.
Yeah, as I said earlier, that sort of thing is in the works and it is coming. So a little bit more patience on that would be appreciated.
Yeah. Oh, no worries at all. Yeah, I'm not bagging anyone. I'm just trying to, provide a bit
we
of
understand your
constructive.
frustrations as well. Don't forget, all of us staff members used to be ordinary members as well, complaining about the same stuff.
Yeah, I've copped so much complaints with my VA. I know exactly where you're coming from, mate. It's all.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, onwards. Owen, over to you.
This is a bit of a mix of a few things. About the milk run, I've only been here for about a year, and I know that milk run's probably been here since before I left primary school, and probably longer than that actually. But I think maybe we could start advertising it as not just Melbourne to Sydney, vice versa, but like start advertising it with more popular routes, such as the Brisbane one, because I remember there was a spilled milk run from Sydney to Brisbane that did really well. So if we could advertise it as well, like we could have departures out of Sydney also going to Brisbane and Melbourne, or Brisbane to Melbourne, or whatever you have. And also, this one here is a mix of IT, I believe, but not too much. For one of the other spilled milk runs, it was from Cairns to Darwin, and I remember the turnout for that wasn't very good, and I believe it was because people would have been using either Vattastic or Vatspy, and because we had the Cape sector online, but the Cape sector isn't actually displayed in the standard Vattastic or Vatspy. You have to get the that really nice update so you can see all the sectors.
If we start trying to pull apart each and every individual event, we're going to be here all night. It's suffice to say that spilled milk runs, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. That exact same spilled milk run might have worked the next month, it might have worked the previous month, it didn't work in that month. I think you're reading too much into the Vattastic, Vatspy kind of things. But we're not here to pull apart individual events. What we're here to discuss are ideas for future events and what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy about the events framework.
Good point.
And you can always send an email to events@vatpac.org if you want to whinge about any particular event. I'm always happy to carry on conversations. Ryan, I better switch over to you now because you're going to break your keyboard.
I'm going to forget. That's what I'm going to do. I just want to add, I do agree with Owen. I think that if there is a way to update Vattastic or Vatspy properly, even though it's a dead project, but that's not to comment. I think it should happen, but that's for another time. My second idea, what about a Vatpac mailing list? Sort of like, I know someone mentioned in the comments.
Were you listening just before when I was just saying that that's exactly what we're setting up on the website?
Oh, I was back and forth, so probably not. Never mind.
In fact, I happen to know a certain member of the IT team that's going to be tasked specifically with setting that up.
Oh.
Just quickly on Vatspy, if you go to the Vatpac forums, I think David just said there's a whole thing on Ross is updating it, and he's going to add a new package for everyone, so all the global sectors will be up to date. Yeah.
Did Ross say that, did he?
I swear I saw it on the forums a week ago.
Yeah,
On the Vatsim forums.
All right, folks, we'd like to wrap it up in about 10 minutes if we could. Oliver, I think I saw you press your button.
Yeah, I just wanted to real quick go back to Australia Online. I noticed with a lot of popular events, there's like a really cool twist sometimes. Not a cool twist, but like there's a twist. So like regions and twins, that makes sense. So perhaps procedural towers or something like that to add a bit more detail to the event, so people can have some sort of idea if they're thinking, oh, maybe I'll go to this. What they're in for, and so there's a bit more detail on that. That's all.
So you're saying in general more information on each event?
Yeah, rather than just like a location, some sort of plan, some perhaps even a time that you want to get on, a time on target sort of thing.
Yep, fair comment.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bank stations.
Mini bank stations.
Okay, I've made a note of that, and we will endeavour to do that. Matt, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I'll just like to say additionally, I wouldn't mind seeing more big events. I know that can be tricky, when it's a small team, but I'll be willing to help out with it, try and not like real ops big, but like the sort of mid-size events, get a few more of them in the mix.
Okay, maybe we should have a chat via email, Matt, if you've got some specific ideas, because it sounds like you do have some ideas happening there. So let me know, and for sure, we're always willing to listen and to design new events based on what people want.
No worries at all, mate.
Even for the unpopular VAs. Okay, moving on. Anybody else? Yep, Owen?
Just putting this out there. For event ideas, I kind of enjoy events that go overseas, where you would transition through oceanic airspace and where you would communicate using all those position reports, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, just putting
over
that out
here
there.
on our little island of Australia, we call those long haul events.
I like long haul.
Yep, the long haul club is slowly picking up. There wasn't much turnout for the first leg of the quarterly long haul, but once we depart Australian shores, I'm sure that'll pick up.
Yeah.
Brady?
Saying that with fence going overseas, would it be a good idea, like once every 2 months or so, to have just a general event between the Vatpac and VATNZ division?
Yep, we did have that set up for a while, and we trialled that for a few months doing regular back and forths. There was one very popular one actually that involved Hobart, but then it kind of sort of tapered off, and there wasn't a lot of participation and a lot of interest in it. But we are certainly willing to fire that up and give it another shot if you have some inside info about VATNZ, that they'd be happy to do that again.
User disconnected from your channel.
I'll let the people over there know, because I'm sure that both divisions would really like to see the traffic increase, especially seeing that VATNZ and Vatpac kind of have a rivalry between each other, but not as much. But trying to break that bond and having a friendship bond between both divisions with events that are happening once every 2 months, and that just increase the traffic, but also the experience for pilots and of course fun.
I think maybe that's a misconception that there's rivalry between Vatpac and VATNZ. I've been the director of events for nearly 3 years now, and I'd call it more of a partnership than a rivalry.
Okay.
Maybe a friendly rivalry.
No, there is quite a lot of banter that goes backwards and forwards between the Vatpac events team and the VATNZ events team, and we are always happy to work together, and I don't think I've seen a suggestion from them yet that we haven't been happy to support, and vice versa.
Happy days.
Okay.
The only thing is they always beat us in ATC applications across the ditch, so something to work on, guys.
Trace.
Yes.
I don't know if you've been reading the comments, but Class D event.
As in procedural.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be about time for another procedural event up at Hamilton Island or something like that. I will definitely slot that in the near future.
get Ippolito and Shannon Wells on Taz again.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, Panic Stations Hobart, Shannon Wells.
I've been trying to get Ippolito to do ATC from over there in Karata since he moved to Karata.
He's on
Fat
NBN.
chance
He
of
should
that.
definitely be able to do that. But
Anyway,
he won't.
couple minutes left, folks. Anybody else? Yes,
Yep.
I was just thinking, since I have literally 3 more files to do with the Air
User in
Force
your channel
ATIS,
timed out.
and we have the ability to make it more realistic, how about some kind of military-related event, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Those are quite difficult to organise, mostly for operational reasons. And to the best of my knowledge at the moment, there isn't a viable military organisation within Vatpac Airspace. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I understand RAF Virtual is still active.
No kidding.
We did an audit of all the affiliated VAs recently, and my understanding is they passed, so they must still be active. In terms of organising military events, as Tracy said, it's not really viable for us to be organising those, simply because the general membership is not able to participate in military operations due to the Vatsim rules.
We're a peace-loving community.
Even in terms of like military training missions, you're not able to conduct those online unless you're a member of an approved organisation and you're conducting that operation
User disconnected from your channel.
You're conducting that operation under that organisation's rules.
And there's lots of training and other things required too.
Good point.
Yep, absolutely.
There is, of course, airspace.
I've got a
Yeah, go, Kirk.
I've got an observation. Are these events like Class D that was being brought up and military ops? Are these events falling down because people aren't up with the procedures? Do we need to have some sort of training system where people who are interested in learning about the Class D, because it is a whole different ball game. People generally, I find, don't make their inbound position reports. The controllers don't coordinate from the centre down to the tower. Do we need to investigate the possibility of having small group training sessions for that sort of those sort of out of the box procedures that we don't deal with in our heavy metal days?
Quite possibly. I seem to remember in the old days when we wanted to learn stuff like that, we'd log on and sit on the ground and listen to how other people did it.
We could create some resources from the pilot point of view, but Greg will be able to tell you how popular those resources that we've made for ATC are.
I know every time I have to log on to Class D Tower, I always have to look up the procedure stuff and all the times and time separation stuff.
Well, if you've got to look them up, then that's great, because that means you know where to look them up. The issue is if people don't know where to look them up, either they're not doing it right or they're just not doing it at all because they're just unsure of how to do it.
The other thing is it's all very well to have these standards, these time standards, distance and DME standards, but do they know how to apply them properly and when they need to be applied? That's what we need to look at, is because sometimes the information in the procedural tower course can be overwhelming, and you just look at it and go, well, I don't know how to apply this to my day-to-day controlling or in a live situation. Do we need to investigate having live training where people can sit in and watch how it works?
Might not be the worst idea.
That's one approach. Another approach would be to schedule a regular event in procedural airspace. So, I don't know, every fortnight or once a month, have a dedicated event at the same time, same day, sort of like we do for Milk Run Monday, but dedicated to procedural. We run that for long enough people will come along and the knowledge will get out there.
User left your channel.
Yeah,
User
I
disconnected from
definitely
your
agree
channel.
with Kirk there, having the demonstration where you get some I1s, I3s or C3s who jump on and staff up an airport, and even have some people come fly or just sit on as observers and have those scheduled training sessions where maybe they get to.
Well, we could actually get quite a bit more complex with that now that we have this system available that we can do recordings of various situations that Mr. Kings has been so kind to develop for us. So maybe in conjunction with that, we can do something and create detailed videos that people can reference. The problem with organising a dedicated group demonstration time is the age-old problem that you're not going to be able to find a time that suits everybody.
Yeah.
It's also a pilot. It's not just an ATC thing. It's a pilot thing as well. So I've worked procedural towers, and they call me up inbound, and I'll go, "Well, where are you? What's your position report?" And they say, "I've got, I'm 2 minutes from top of descent." Oh, well, that doesn't help.
Yeah, there's a definite hole in the pilot education side of things that needs to be filled. So I think maybe we need to have a discussion about this, have a think about it, and we'll get onto the forums and make it more of an ongoing conversation and find the right combination that works for everyone.
Maybe we can, I don't know, stick some ideas in Musical Aviator's head to do us a nice YouTube video on approaching a procedural tower.
Good idea.
That would be good. And previously, I put the link down the bottom to our Vatpac YouTube. Is there any chance we can get that chucked up on the website somewhere? Because there's videos. Someone asked for the TatsMod install, someone to make a TatsMod install video, and I said we already had one, and then someone put 5 question marks up.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to make all of those videos public because I need to go back and review their currency and relevance. But by all means, the TatsMod setup and stuff like that, that's definitely something that we should make available.
I'll put that one up when I do the stuff on.
Yeah, Tats is a bit of a pain to install.
A bit.
On me doing a video, I'd be quite happy to do one given training where to provide somewhat of a script or at least a fairly strong direction, but what else should we do?
I'm happy to discuss that with you, Trent, and arrange to at least have someone in the know on the tower to talk to.
Cool.
And at least someone at the centre level as well.
Yep.
And also tell me what to do because, I wing it up.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I think there's definitely potential there.
It's to a certain degree, it's a lot simpler than it seems, and all those separation standards and stuff like that. Yeah, that comes into play when aircraft are IFR in somewhat IMC, but in most cases, a procedural tower operates using visual procedures anyway. So, once we can get that sort of, a couple of little videos out there to say, hey, this is how easy it can be, I think that can become quite popular.
The real difficulty in teaching procedural is obviously that it's really done in your head, trying to work out where the aircraft are and having that mental picture, whereas obviously with your radar stuff, you can show that visually to someone else, whereas you can't do the same with procedural.
Well, yeah, yes and no. A procedural tower will have a situation display. They're just not allowed to use that for separation, so they have to have procedural separation standards in place to separate the traffic that are on that situation display. So the situational awareness side of things is easy to simulate, but yeah, as you say, having the backup, the actual separation standard that you're using in your head is the trick.
User joined your channel. User joined your channel.
All right. I think we're about ready to wrap it up. Unless anyone has any last burning issues, this is your last chance. No? Okay, well, on behalf of all of the board, thanks everyone for coming along and being part of the conversation. Thanks also to our other resident experts, such as Trent and Kirk, for your contributions. Been much appreciated. All of the heads of department folks have taken notes throughout this meeting and will go to work on a lot of these suggestions. You'll see quite a few of them start popping up in the forums. If we miss them, please go ahead and post up in the forums. This is the way that we manage ongoing communications with you and make sure that we don't forget anything and don't keep track of anything, don't lose track of anything. So thanks everyone. We'll let you all go now and we'll see you around the traps. I can see Trent just quickly pressing his button there. The last words, Trent?
Yep, I've recorded this from the beginning to now. Am I okay to put that up somewhere?
Oh God, I hope not. Yes, yeah. I think so. Greg?
Yeah, I don't think there's really been anything said that'll offend anyone.
I'm good with it.
Cool.
All right. Thanks very much again, everyone, and we'll see you around. Cheers.
Have a good night.
I'm offended Matt didn't offer
Thanks,
anyone
guys.
else a drink.
And for those who want to stick around, this is the end of the official town hall meeting, but I did promise a couple of people that will stick around in room 1 for an even more informal chat if you want to keep shooting the breeze. So we might see some of you there.
Just a
User
quick
left
comment.
your channel.
I think Matt went to go get some information whiskey.
Oh, that's a great idea.
He literally made that joke
User
when I
in your
told him.
channel timed out.
Alright, have a good night, everyone.
So yeah.
No.
User disconnected